Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 156 of the True Crime All the Time Unsolved podcast. I'm Mike Ferguson, and with me, as always, is my partner in true crime, Mike Gibson. Gibby, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm hanging in.
Yeah?
I think most of us in this country and a lot of people around the world are trying to hang in, man, and it's tough.
I'm doing all right. I just drink Lysol every morning.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good for you, but
I don't think it is. It really hurts when it goes down.
yeah, we'll see how it works.
Yeah.
We talked about it on True Crime All the Time. We're in uncharted waters, and it seems like, okay, from week to week when we tape, there's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Since the last time we taped, and there have been a lot since last week, and everybody's experiencing it, and we'll get through it.
It's like you said, it's uncharted or uncharted.
Or uncharted.
Yeah.
Both, really.
Yeah.
I don't think it's chartered either.
That either. No, it's not. But we'll learn from it. How about that? Something to learn from.
Well, yeah, I have learned a few things from it about being prepared, and luckily I was pretty good at it to begin with. So
Yeah, you are kind of like a prepper.
I am a little bit of a prepper.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We have some new Patreon supporters.
All right.
So let's give shout outs. We had Heather Locklear,
Hey, Heather.
and I have to emphasize that. I don't want to confuse it with Heather Locklear.
Yeah, two different people.
It is, I'm assuming. Jessica DeRosa,
Hey, DeRosa.
Mark Godbeer,
Hey, Mark.
Jessica Paletta,
Paletta.
Lori Van Etten Price,
Hey, Van Etten Price.
Madison,
What's going on, Madison?
Lisa Thornton,
Hey, Lisa.
Julie Madden,
Hey, thanks, Julie.
Savannah Robert,
What's going on, Savannah?
Rebecca Carty,
Hey, Rebecca.
Sammy,
Well, thank you, Sammy.
Danielle Shin,
Hey, Danielle.
Lori McNeely,
Thanks, Lori.
Lexi Bonner,
Hey, Bonner.
the Fongs. We got the Fongs.
Bongs are in the house?
Yep, they're in the
like
house. Abigail Thomas,
Hey, Abigail.
Stephen Burton,
What's going on, Steven?
Adam H,
Hey, thanks, Adam.
Keith,
Is Keith?
just Keith.
Okay.
We got Keith, Mark Martinez,
Hey, Mark.
Jackie Kluge,
Hey, what's going on, Cluj?
Amy Panaccione.
Panation.
See, I preemptively
You did.
used a little accent, not like yours. I'm not good like you.
That's right.
And last but not least, we had Maria Glenn.
Hey, Maria.
So we appreciate all that new Patreon support. Then if we go back into the vault, Gibbs, this week we selected Danielle Sampson Lemke.
Yeah, our favorite ukulele player. Did I say that right? Ukulele?
Yeah, I think you
Ukulele?
did.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I knew what it was, and that's really all that matters.
That is true.
But yeah, Danielle's been with us a long time. She's a great supporter and very vocal supporter of the show. And we appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We had some PayPal support as well. Pauline Timms.
Hey, Pauline.
Janice Hubbard.
What's going on, Janice?
Jessica Metz.
Hey, Jessica.
And Daniel Javier.
Just like saying that, don't you?
Javier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big thanks to all the PayPal supporters. Gibbs, right now we have a brand new episode out on True Crime All the Time. We're talking about the Butcher of Kansas City.
Brutal, man.
Brutal episode on Bob Berdella. This is a guy that people have been requesting for 3 years plus.
Well, they got it now.
That we do, and we decided to do it for our 175th episode.
Yeah.
So make sure you check that out. It's a very gruesome but good episode. All right, buddy. Are you ready to get into this episode of True Crime All the Time Unsolved?
I am.
We're talking about the 2004 unsolved murder of Sarah Fox. So we're going to New York City.
Hey, your favorite place, New York. Anywhere in New York, you love New York because the name's in New York.
We've been to New York a lot, but we haven't been to New York City a lot.
Right.
We have been. We did Son of Sam, and we've done a number of cases. A lot of our unsolved cases, I think, have been outside of New York City. So first off, let's give a little bit of background on Sarah Fox. Sarah was born on December 22nd, 1983. She's the daughter of Stephen and Lorraine Fox. Sarah has two sisters, Samantha and Corrine. She grew up on Day Avenue in Pennsauken Township, New Jersey, which is just across the river from Philadelphia.
Yeah, one of those New Jersey, it's like part of Philadelphia. It's like, you really in Philly, you say? It's just always messed me up.
Yeah.
You're in New Jersey, But you say, yeah, I'm from Philly.
Well, Morph probably knows where it is.
Yeah.
Because he lives over there somewhere.
Probably does, yeah.
Sarah's father, Stephen, passed away from cancer in the early 1990s, and her mother remarried a man named Bruce Jones. Sarah loved to dance. She loved to perform dramas at an early age. And she did these type of activities whenever she got the chance. She would hang out with her friends. They would put on plays. It's what she loved to do.
And, you know, I've got a daughter that did that kind of same stuff growing up. And I know I'm sure either both or one of your daughters did that, where they were always dancing with their friends, putting on routines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not so much like dramas or plays, but my youngest, you know, that is very much into competition dance and loves to develop routines and will put those on with their friends.
Yep.
Sarah was so good at performing that she was accepted into the acclaimed Southern New Jersey Academy of Performing Arts at the Gloucester County Institute of Technology, which was very well known for their drama and dance school. She graduated from the academy in 2001 with honors. And that talent that she had that got her into that school, it was at such a level, Gibbs, by the time that she graduated, that she was accepted into the prestigious Julliard School, located in New York City. She was set to study drama there. And, you know, when you use the word prestigious, people kind of throw that word around a lot.
Well, yeah, sure they do.
Oh, probably overuse it.
Yeah.
In a lot of instances, but you really can't with Julliard. The year she got accepted, they only accepted 21 students. 21.
Yeah.
And there's people applying from all over the United States. There's people probably applying from X amount of different countries. They took 21.
And that one time you were number 22.
I was.
You're like, really?
Just like on American Idol, I barely missed the top whatever.
You were right there.
16 or whatever it was.
So close. They sent you to that other room and said, you guys are all going home.
But I think that gives you a sense of what a really big deal this was.
Yeah, she was.
And still is.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong.
How talented she was to make it.
That's the other thing, right? Julliard's a big deal. It also gives you an idea of how extremely talented she was. Yeah. They just don't let you in because they like you. You got to prove it. And it means you worked really hard for a very long time to build up that talent level. Her mother felt somewhat nervous about Sarah going off to New York City, but Lorraine did feel that New York City was much safer after 9/11.
Well, I think she felt safer because there was more of a security presence in the city and more police officers on the street because it all got ramped up after that.
Well, sure.
And I think she just, as a mom, felt, you know what? I think it's going to be okay.
The other thing that Lorraine did was, as the girls grew up, she taught them all to be street smart, to look out for themselves. And she knew how much Sarah wanted this. So she made the decision that, you know what? We're going to let her do it.
Yeah, go for it.
After Sarah headed off to college, her mother, Lorraine, and stepfather, Bruce, they moved to Gibbstown, New Jersey.
What was that town called?
I think it's named after you. It's called Gibbstown.
Yeah, beautiful town, man.
It's about 25 miles south from where the girls grew up. So Sarah's in the big city, right? The Big Apple.
Yeah.
She spent a lot of her free time in New York City getting to know it. It's pretty massive, you know?
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't live there your whole life and you just move in, it's going to take you a little while, I think, to get your bearings. So she would go out kind of, you know, on her time, discovering different parts of the city every time she went out.
Yeah, it's kind of how one of my nieces went to fashion school up there. And that's kind of what she did. She got into the fashion school and she kind of just took her time to get to know the different boroughs and the city and what it offered. And, you know, she's still there. She loves it.
What's a lot, man? You know, how does the subway work?
Yeah.
How are the streets all lined up? New York City's, it's a monster. It's massive.
But I think once you got it down, it's probably all right.
Sure. People love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be one of them.
No.
Because number one, I hate crowds.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be walking down the street with 10,000 other people. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean.
You don't want to walk down the street with 10 other people.
Now, I'm a suburb kind of person.
Yeah.
I'm not a downtown walk from place to place and in a big crowd type of guy.
Yeah.
Her family said Sarah fell in love with New York City, and she eventually got her own apartment in the Inwood neighborhood of Manhattan. So she's going to Julliard. And during her junior year there, she met her boyfriend, Matt D'Amico, who was from California, but was also attending the Julliard School. Sarah told her friends that she was going to take some different courses that summer at Rutgers. She was going to take a little break from her theater/drama classes for a few months. Gibbs, I think she just wanted to do something a little different.
I think when you've been studying that all your life, right? Going through that's where her high school years were that.
And even younger.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then you go into Julliard, which has to be a very competitive and tough school.
Yeah, it's rigorous. It's demanding. You have to live it.
Yeah. So I think you probably would want to break every now and then. Just do something totally off the grid from that, just to get it out of your head for a little bit.
Some of the things that Sarah's friends have said about her is that she was such a joyful person. She was extremely happy. Everybody loved to be around her. She had this contagious smile, and she really knew how to touch someone's heart just by spending a little bit of time with them.
Just like, oh no, not like you.
No, not like me. Now, her family said she was very mature and responsible from an early age. She would always tell her mom where she was going as she was growing up. I mean, even if it was just, running across the street to a friend's house for a few minutes, she would not do that without letting her mom know where she was. It's very responsible.
Always keeping her informed.
Teachers all said that Sarah was a very hard worker in school, and that extended to her dance and drama lessons as well. And what really came through was her charismatic personality.
I think if you're in that arena, you kind of have to have that type of personality.
I don't know if you have to have it, but it sure helps.
It makes a big difference.
Maybe you have to have it if you want to succeed.
There you go.
I mean, you can dance around like a sourpuss if you want.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it's going to get you anywhere. But Gibbs, it was on May 19th, 2004. 21-year-old Sarah Fox was seen leaving her Manhattan apartment and then jogging past the nearby Inwood Hill Park. Police and family would later theorize that Sarah was most likely headed up to the Harlem River Ship Canal. This was a place that she regularly liked to jog to, or they thought maybe she was jogging to her gym over on 181st Street. This is another place that she would jog to quite frequently, but Sarah was last reported to have been seen at the intersection of Isham Street and Broadway. This is in the northern part of the Inwood neighborhood, Manhattan, between 4 and 5 p.m. When her boyfriend didn't hear from her that night, the night of May 19th, he got worried, as most boyfriends would do.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, I haven't heard from you. Where are you at?
So Matt called Sarah's mom, Lorraine, who said the same thing. She had not heard from Sarah. And both of these were very strange, right? It was strange for Sarah to not call her mother. They were extremely close, and they talked not once a day, several times a day.
That's how close they were.
Yeah, that's very close. So, to go a day and you don't hear from somebody that usually calls you 2 or 3 times a day, something's wrong.
Yep.
As the boyfriend, you don't hear from your girlfriend who calls you multiple times a night, probably, or at least once a night, and you guys talk for some length of time. Both of those scenarios, very strange. So her mom was worried right away. as soon as she got this call from Sarah's boyfriend, Lorraine and Sarah's sister, Samantha, they drove into New York City that night.
Yeah.
That's how worried they were. They tried to locate her, no luck. So they went to the New York City Police Department at the 34th Precinct, and they reported Sarah missing. Police began canvassing her neighborhood. They canvassed her known jogging paths. The Inwood community came out to assist, as did Sarah's old South Jersey community where she grew up. And on top of those groups, there were a lot of students and teachers from the Julliard School that participated in the search for Sarah as well. Police said she was last seen wearing black spandex running pants, a white short-sleeved V-neck t-shirt, and she had a portable CD player on her hip. They described Sarah as having short brownish blonde hair and blue eyes. She stood 5'2", and she weighed 110 pounds. They also put it out that she had some type of tribal tattoo on her lower back. Day after day, community volunteers along with police searched for Sarah, but they had no luck finding her.
Well, even in that part of town, it's a big chunk of town.
Sure.
A lot to search, a lot to see.
You're not searching Mayberry.
No.
Where everybody knows everyone. You know, the barber can tell you if somebody strange has been in town recently. That's not what we're talking about here.
No.
There is too many people for, any one person to keep track of.
And just in her neighborhood, that Inland Hill Park by itself was 200 acres. That's just the park, not even including the neighborhood that they have to scour through and look.
Yeah, it's a big area.
Yeah.
About 5 days into the search, Sarah's mother told the press that she was having these repeated memories back from when Sarah was a little girl, and the memories were about a game that they would play. The game she played with Sarah and her other daughters was called What If? And this was where Lorraine would ask the girls different questions to be sure that they wouldn't fall for any tricks by strangers. So we mentioned it, that Lorraine tried to raise her daughters to be very street smart. This was a part of that training.
Sure. And I even did this with my kids growing up.
I think a lot of parents have. I mean, I don't know if they called it what if, but it's, if this happens, this is what you need to do, or,
This is the same thing you do when we go to CrimeCon to me.
It is.
What if, and you do this scenario, and I have to get the right answer.
Because there's a lot of dangers there.
Yes.
So, like a question Lorraine would ask was, what if a man asked you to come help find his puppy? Right? Those are the type of questions that you would pose to kids. What happens if somebody pulls up alongside the sidewalk in their car and they say, I've lost my puppy? Or they say, hey, I've got some candy. Do you want some candy?
Right.
It's over here. We have to go get it. Lorraine said all of her girls knew the answer to those questions. The answer was always no.
Yeah.
I'm not helping you with that. I don't want that. She said they were all very aware of strangers and just strange situations in general. It used to be, and maybe still is, the term stranger danger.
Yeah.
I don't know if they use it as much anymore as they used to, but that's pretty much what she was saying. They know what that is, and they know to stay away from those type of situations. On May 25th, 2004, Sarah Fox had been missing for 6 days. And at around 1:30 p.m., a group of volunteers that were led by a man named John Higgins, who was a Vietnam vet and an expert of the 200-acre Inwood Hill Park, found a naked body that appeared to be of a young woman with about 24 yellow tulip petals around her that most likely came from a nearby tulip tree. The body was about 100 feet off the trail in a very heavily wooded part of the Inwood Hill Park near Henry Hudson Boulevard and Dickman Street, laying under a highway bridge. So police sealed off the area. They found some clothes and a pink CD player near the body. The New York City police called in the medical examiner, to the site, and the medical examiner would not comment at the time if this was Sarah's body. But an NYPD officer told the press the body had the same tattoo on the lower back that Sarah was supposed to have had. The autopsy was held on May 26th, where it was determined that the body was indeed that of Sarah Fox. Sarah had been strangled to death. But because of the level of decomposition, the medical examiner was not able to say if Sarah had been sexually assaulted either prior to or after her death. They were able to determine that the clothes found were not Sarah's, but the pink CD player was hers. They were able to pull another person's DNA off the CD player, as well as from some other items found at the crime scene that police didn't release to the public. So this was information that the public was not aware of, right? That other items were found there and that they were able to pull some DNA from them. The problem was they couldn't match the DNA. Investigators were puzzled, Gibbs, by the tulips that had been found around Sarah's body. It's strange.
It is strange.
I mean, obviously, it's strange to find a dead body.
Yeah.
But for someone to take the time to, number one, gather, and then number two, arrange these tulip petals
right
around the body, it means something. There has to be some significance to that action.
So the police have a botanist come in and he examines the petals. He told the police that these petals were too fresh to have been around the body at the time that Sarah was determined to be murdered, because if they were, they would be more wilted at that time versus how they look at that moment he examined them. So his theory was that they had to be laid there 3 to 4 days after her death. So basically, the killer came back to the murder site.
And risked being seen during this time that it would have taken to arrange the petals. I mean, I get what the botanist is saying, but there were other experts that disagreed.
Sure there was.
They said that the petals could have blown there and laid around the body. And really, it looked as though they had been set there by someone, but hadn't. They had just blown there.
Just randomly found their way.
We haven't seen a picture of what this looked like, but to me, it's either one or the other. Either you can tell that someone laid these petals around the body. I find it very hard to believe that they would blow in such a way that they would surround the body and kind of look like somebody had made a pattern.
Right.
I find that hard to believe.
Tough.
But I'm not a botanist or a tulip expert in any way.
You're just not a flower guy, period.
I'm not. Gibbs, the Inwood community was in shock that this had happened in their neighborhood. They had a neighborhood watch program, and they reported that there had been no suspicious activity in quite a while. In the time leading up to Sarah's death, police began looking into the people in Sarah's life. They also followed up on any leads that came in. They looked into anyone in the area that had a criminal background or those people that were known to have had psychological issues.
So they're going to do everything that you normally do, right?
It sounds like they're checking into it.
Question the boyfriend, question anybody that might have had a reason to do this. I don't think they have too many leads off of that, though.
On June 2nd, 2004, the funeral service for Sarah Fox was held. The night before was the visitation, and hundreds of people attended. The morning of the funeral, there were more than 350 friends and family at the Falco, Caruso, and Leonard Funeral Home in Pennsauken, New Jersey. Sarah's white coffin was surrounded by several photos of her, and they played a video montage of her as well. Several members of her family spoke to the audience, as did many of her closest friends. The local press said it was a very beautiful service.
Yeah, this service came out in all the big papers, the Post, the New York, Daily. It was in all those papers. It was a pretty high profile case, I think, at the time. I mean, a 21-year-old college student from Julliard found dead. It's going to make a lot of news.
Well, in one of the news capitals of the world.
Sure.
The family put out a reward of $10,000 that quickly grew to $27,000 for any leads that ended in the conviction of Sarah's murderer. Then on December 1st, 2004, the press learned that the police were looking into a person of interest, and it was described as either a Dominican or Russian man in his upper 30s who lived in Sarah's neighborhood. And we didn't mention it, Gibbs, but the neighborhood where Sarah lives, there was a very large population, it was said, of both Dominican and Haitian people.
Yeah.
I don't remember it saying anything about Russian people, but there were some reports that this man could be mixed up in some type of satanic worship, and that it was during this type of satanic activity that Sarah Fox was sexually assaulted and then strangled to death. On December 8th, 2004, the New York City District Attorney reported to the press that they indeed had a prime suspect in the Sarah Fox murder. The man was a 39-year-old Russian named Dmitry Scheinman. Police had begun looking into him about a week before. He lived with his wife, but they lived very close to the site where Sarah was murdered. Dmitry was a paid dog walker. And basically, Gibbs, he became a prime suspect because he injected himself into the case.
Which we've had other people do that. You know, they just feel like they need to be close to that case.
And there are theories, right? There are theories about people that commit crimes who then want to be a part of the investigation, right? They get some perverse enjoyment, thrill out of being part of something that is looking into a murder that they know they committed.
Yeah.
Is it because they've outsmarted police, or maybe they want to know what police know so they can try to stay one step ahead? But we know a lot of killers have done this.
Yeah. And it normally doesn't end well for them.
Well, it normally doesn't, because we're talking about them on True Crime all the time, which means they got caught and put away. This Dmitry guy told investigators he began having visions of Sarah's murder, and these visions included some details that were never released to the public. Okay, that's going to raise the hair on the back of the necks of police detectives.
It's going to get their attention.
There's no doubt about it. You know, one of these was the exact position of Sarah's body. You know, this guy talked about certain items laying by her body. And I think one of the big details that we haven't mentioned yet, it was never released to the public, but somehow this Dmitry guy knew about, was that there was a branch between Sarah's legs when she was found. But he wasn't done. He told police that she had a broken rib. She was on her menstrual cycle, which all of that was true, but none of it had been released to the public.
And that's really, I mean, I guess you could make a guess at the branch. I think it'd be hard to say the rib was broken, but then to say she was on her menstrual cycle at that time.
You're not guessing about all of it.
No.
You're not getting that right. Nobody's that good or that lucky. And this guy was known to have a temper. You know, he would walk his family dog, which was a Rhodesian Ridgeback. Some locals reported that he would come unglued on other dog walkers or runners for even being on the same bike path or same walkway as he and his dog.
Yeah, I think when he walked that, and I mean, I love Rhodesians too. Those are great dogs. But I think he felt that when he was out there, nobody should be out there while he's walking that dog.
Like he owned that space.
Yeah.
He had the right of way.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like. And if somebody thought that they could, you know, either pass him or come at him and make him move a little bit, sounds like he would go off on somebody.
Get a little aggressive.
Not good when a bunch of local people come out and say, ooh, this guy's got an anger problem.
Yeah.
But Dmitri denied having any involvement in Sarah's murder. Police did take a sample of his DNA, and when they ran it, it was not a match to what they recovered from the crime scene. And there's no doubt this guy had a temper, Gibbs, because a few years later, in 2007, it got him in trouble. He was arrested and convicted of assault when he knocked out another dog walker.
Yeah.
In the Inwood Hills Park.
This was an event that was kind of stupid, I think. You know, Dmitri and his wife were in the park. You know, she's pregnant, and they have their dog. And this other couple is walking another dog that got off their leash, or they let him off, and the dog's running around. And, well, the dog jumps up on Dimitri's wife's pregnant belly. Dmitri gets really upset with that and turns around and sees that owner of that dog and starts attacking him. And he starts yelling out, "Hey, you're that murderer," which made him even more angry. And he clocked him and knocked him out.
He ended up serving 59 days at Rikers Island.
It's a tough place to serve 59 days.
It does seem strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little rough place to be for 59 days.
I mean, you don't have like a minor country club you can send me to for 59 days. I just got in a fight, man.
Yeah.
I didn't kill anyone. Don't send me to Rikers Island. But it was not long after he was released, after this incident, that he left the U.S. with his wife, and they went to Cape Town, South Africa. Police had no other suspects, and they really didn't have any other leads coming in. The leads slowed down. They weren't, trickling in like they had in the beginning of the investigation, and that's normal.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of tips early on. Eventually, those are going to dwindle.
And I think some people thought that they had a really good suspect that is now in another country.
Who's now in Cape Town, South Africa?
Yeah.
The family started a project in Sarah's name. They collected gloves and hats and other types of items for the winter months. And they donated them to the needy on Sarah's birthday each year, December 22nd.
Which I thought was really cool. Good way to honor her. And I was looking into this story a little bit more on a couple of different articles I seen. And around 9/11, after 9/11, Sarah and some of her friends were up in NYC, and they would go out and collect socks and things like that, and donate those to the families that were in need. So it kind of was like something Sarah really liked to do, and we're going to do something similar, but this time we're going to do the mittens and gloves.
And I think so that's why it makes sense, right? Because she had done something similar. She did something to help out people in need.
Yeah.
Her family doing that is almost like an extension of what Sarah did or what she would have done.
Yes.
Sounds like something, if she had the opportunity, she would have done it herself.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If she saw a group of people in need, she would have gotten a bunch of other people together and say, hey, let's make up care packages. We used to do that at work.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And it always gave me a good feeling to put together these care packages that would then be delivered to people that needed them with just the basics, gloves, hats, socks, you name it.
So I think anytime you can give back, it's good.
Yeah. But they were doing it to honor Sarah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they felt really good about that. They also set up a scholarship in her name. But really, Gibbs, Sarah's case went cold for a little while. But then it started to heat up again when Dmitri Scheinman returned to the U.S. in June of 2012. And he came back to discuss a book, this new book that he wrote. And it just happened to be about the murder of Sarah Fox. He was hoping to get it published. He told the New York Daily News on June 7th, 2012, that he had a vision. And in this vision, he had seen a potential killer's name in white letters on a black background. And he wrote this name down and he put it in an envelope to give to police, but he didn't want to go to the police station. He wanted the police to meet him at a public cafe, which is somewhat strange.
Yeah, I find that really bizarre because what's the difference? If you go to the police station, if they wanted to arrest you, they would, even if they met you at the cafe.
They don't need to be at the police station to arrest you.
Yeah.
I think they thought that maybe by him wanting to have it in a public place, he was trying to get press.
I think he probably was.
Or attention that he couldn't get inside the police station, right?
Right.
There can't be a reporter hanging out at a police station that's going to snap these photos and things like that. So I think what the police really thought was, hey, if this guy was serious in wanting to help us solve this case, then why not just give us the name?
Yeah. Why do this big show?
Yeah. Why all the talk to the newspapers? Why was he trying to, in a way, drum up publicity?
Yeah.
Well, when you're trying to sell a book, you know what's great to have is a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
Also at this time, Dimitri showed the press some excerpts from his book, and he told them that he changed his name for the book from Dimitri to Victor, and he changed Sarah's name to Tara Wolf.
I just think it's really strange, right? It's like he's changed his name to protect himself, to protect her family. But then again, he's out in the public saying this book is about Sarah Fox's murder.
Or is it like an OJ situation? Remember when he wrote that book that says, "If I did it"?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Right.
So by changing the names, okay. Yeah, I'm telling you some strange things that happened, maybe related to the murder, but it's not really the murder of Sarah.
So Tara, done by Victor.
So in this book, Dimitri tells the story from his point of view of the case and what he went through trying to assist the police. So what he wrote in the book was that Sarah was running along the trail near the bridge, and the area was loud because of this traffic across the bridge. A man jumped out, grabbed her in a chokehold, and he hit her hard in the side, breaking her rib to quiet her. So a couple things there.
Yeah.
First of all, he says, even though it was very loud, the man broke her rib to quiet her. I get it. He's got a vision. In a vision, don't you normally see what happens? Not intuit why things are happening.
Right.
How does he know that the reason why this man hit her was to keep her quiet so that no one else would hear her? I found that very odd.
It's a strange thing to say.
It seems strange to me that you somehow jump into the mind of the attacker and know why he's doing what he's doing.
Right.
He then said that after the attack, the man simply rolled Sarah up to where she was found. Now, he later said that the name in the envelope was a recent graduate from the Julliard School. And the New York Daily News actually tracked this guy down and found out from him that he wasn't even living in the country at the time that Sarah Fox was killed. Not only that, Gibbs, he didn't even know who she was.
Which I think, what, this guy just take a name and looked at the directory on the wall there and said, hey,
here's the graduates from
the
year before or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the police checked him out too. And I mean, this guy was not in town.
Right. So they verified his story.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was able to lie. I mean, those are things that are pretty easily checked.
Right.
On March 28th, 2012, there was an Occupy Wall Street event. And during the event, the group used a thick chain to hold open the exit gate to the subway. This allowed protesters to come and go without paying. The police confiscated the chain and they actually sent it to the lab for fingerprint and DNA testing. They were trying to figure out, okay, who was involved in this?
Yeah.
Who put it there?
Who's going to pay us back for all these people taking the subway for free?
Then on June 10th, it came out that the DNA on the chain matched the DNA on the CD player from the Sarah Fox murder case. So, Gibbs, investigators were very excited.
Yeah. Finally, we got some good news coming our way.
But there was a problem because they pretty quickly found out from the lab that the match was not correct. One of the lab workers had made a mistake. So you can only imagine what a big disappointment this was for not only the investigators, but for Sarah's family, because they had to have had a large amount of hope that this case was about ready to be solved.
That's why you got to have protocols in place, right? Check, do another check, do a QC of the check, make sure. I mean, where I work, how we QC 5 times before something is really.
I know where you work, and let's be honest, it's no DNA lab.
Yeah, so, that's true.
it's far from it, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of checking going on.
There is a lot of checking. There's a lot of protocols, but you have no idea what they are in a DNA lab.
No, we do not.
And neither do I. But it was a big mistake. But people are human. I mean, I don't care if you work where you work, or I don't care if you work in some fancy DNA lab.
Yeah.
People still make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. Probably not intentional. I'm almost positive it wasn't.
I make mistakes here. I say things that might not be correct in the grammar, English, like just right there.
Arena area.
Yeah.
In mid-July 2012, Dimitri made an announcement that he and his wife were going back to South Africa for good. Then on May 14th, 2013, police came out and said that they had 2 new suspects that they were looking into, but neither of them had a criminal past. But police believed that they could have been involved, or at the very least, they knew what happened the day that Sarah Fox was murdered. But they follow those leads and they don't pan out.
So again, for the family, I think you get excited. You hear this.
Every time there's a new development, there has to be a level of excitement.
And you think,
I don't know if excitement's the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hope.
Hope's
probably the better word.
And I think to the point that you almost don't even call me until you actually have something solid. Because I'm tired of getting my hopes up.
But then on the flip side of that, I don't think the family would want to be blindsided.
Yeah, that's
and see it in the news that you've solved it. They want to be involved, but there's no doubt that they have to build hope.
Sure.
And then it comes crashing down every time one of these very promising leads fails to pan out.
And from everything I read in the research, and I know that, Lorraine said the same thing. She thought NYPD, the district that the murder took place in, did a fantastic job. She really thought they did a really good job investigating it. They just weren't able to get a good break in the case.
Yeah, they just weren't able to crack it. And and even after this, it went cold again. In the years after Dimitri returned to South Africa, he continued to communicate with some of the New York papers. Gibbs, he told them that he talked to Sarah Fox, that he still had visions of her.
He's a real clairvoyant.
He's something. I don't know what he is. I don't know what to make of him. Maybe we'll talk about it here in a minute, but he told the papers that Sarah told him in his visions that she loves him and she wanted him to keep fighting to find her killer.
Whoa, big statement.
Well, you say big statement. I don't understand the statement. First of all, Sarah did not know this person at all.
Yeah.
So why she would be coming to him, of all people, in her visions, I don't know. And saying, I love you.
Yeah. You're doing great, man. Keep it up.
Yeah. He said that he keeps a picture of Sarah under the glass top that sits on his desk to remind him not to give up. This is a dog walker that is trying to crack the case from South Africa.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being too hard on the guy. I don't know if I am. I just have this feeling like he's trying to, in some way, figure out how to profit from this girl's disappearance, right? I got a possible book deal. Let me talk to the New York papers about that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe something's still in the works. I need to keep it alive.
Yeah, and I don't know. It may be.
I don't know that for a fact. It's just, this weird feeling that I'm getting about him.
What I don't like is, again, every time he, resurfaces, it has to stir up all this with the family again, right? He's going to bring this stuff up, hope. And like we just talked about, every time the police get a suspect or a person of interest, they get some hope. But when he does it, I'm assuming that it's doing the same thing or not.
I don't think it would be, because what hope are you getting from what appears to be nonsensical information?
Well, that's true, right? I mean, I've got this envelope here that has a name in it, but I won't give it to anybody unless they come meet me here.
When it turns out to be nothing.
And it turned out to be nothing anyway.
But see, now he's saying from South Africa, I'm having these visions.
Right.
I don't think the family is getting any hope from that. If anything, my assumption is they're pissed.
Yeah.
Why are you even bringing up our daughter? You didn't know her.
So leave her out of your stories.
Yes. Unless you know what happened and you can solve the case and tell the police, stop talking about her. That's my assumption of what they would be thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a very valid point.
But I think Gibbs, to the point that, we've talked about Dimitri, I don't think investigators have ruled him out. He has continued to claim his innocence in regards to Sarah's murder.
Sure.
I don't think they've ruled him out, but at the same time, I don't think they have any good evidence to tie Dimitri or frankly any other suspect at this point to the case. We know his DNA didn't match.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean he didn't have anything to do with it. It just means that DNA is not his.
Right.
There was, as far as we know, no witness to Sarah's murder outside of the killer.
And that makes it tough to solve a case when there's no witness.
It does. The decomposition of the body, right? It's May in New York. It's not the hottest time of the year, but when a body's out in the element for, a good number of days, there's going to be decomposition, and it really hurts. The forensic work, the evidence collection. Like we said, they couldn't even determine conclusively whether or not she was sexually assaulted.
Right.
This is a baffling case. And, this is one hopefully that will be solved one day soon. It's going to take someone coming forward with information that most likely they've had for quite some time. And to this point, they've just been unwilling to come forward, or it's going to take somebody slipping up.
Right.
The murderer or an accomplice or something gets drunk, says something, something like that.
Yeah. And you really want her family and her boyfriend to get some answers, from everything I read, they're a great group of people, and, they loved her very much. And I think they just want to know who did this and why.
And I know we talked about this Dimitri guy quite a bit. I go back to the, 3, 4, 5 things that he told police that was never released to the public. I still don't understand how he could have known these facts. Yeah. If indeed, as everybody has said, these were not released. Now, is it impossible to find out from a detective or somebody shoots their mouth off? No, it's not impossible, but it doesn't make this guy look good at all.
No.
And then on top of that, you would think that, okay, police looked at you and maybe still are looking at you. I should just lay low. I should stop talking about having strange visions and talking to this woman. And why do I keep bringing it up and almost reinserting myself into the conversation? It makes no sense unless my only goal is to sell a book or to profit in some way.
Sure. Well,
I just don't get it.
Think you're onto something, maybe.
It's been almost 16 years since her murder, and we know it gets tougher as the years go on, but we also know that with some of the new technology, some of these cases, even older than this, are being solved. And I think, at least for me, that gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah, there's that chance that opportunity will come one day where they will be able to solve it.
Yep. But that's it. That's the unsolved murder of Sarah Fox. Gibbs, we got some voicemails. You want to check those out?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Hey, Mike and Gibby, this is Tina from Rochester, New York. I just wanted to let you know that I am Team T-Cat. I love you both. I listen to you while I'm at school. I'm a cleaner at nighttime. And so I just want to let you know, I love you both. And I just wanted to make a suggestion. I live in Rochester, New York, and you guys did an awesome job on the Shawcross episode. And I wanted to know if you can look up the Michael Benson. He did an awesome thing on the Devil on the Genesee Junction and the murder of the Kathy Bernard and the Georgianne Former Cola murders, which is really huge and unsolved here. And I hope you can kind of cover that and do your unsolved thing on that. And that's about it for me. And yeah, that's about it. So keep your own time ticking, and I love you guys. Thank you.
All right. We appreciate that. And we will definitely check into those episodes. And we love you too.
Absolutely, we do.
Okay, so I've debated doing this for a couple months now, but I never really knew what to say. But hi guys, I'm Becca. I live in Spring Grove. I haven't actually talked to Gibby before, but just wanted to say that I love you guys, and I listen to you guys first thing when I get to work every Monday because you're all basically my favorite. And oh my gosh, I'm getting flustered. I don't know why I'm getting flustered leaving a voicemail, but just have a good day. Thanks for making my Mondays, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Bye.
Seemed like she did really well.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took her 2 months to pull the
so
trigger.
long.
Did she say she lives in Springboro?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I was like literally sounds like she was right next
She
door.
told me she listens to us while she cleans at the school there.
Well, that's awesome. Love it.
Hey, Mike and Gibby, this is Amber from Bay Area. I just want to let you know that I've been binging your podcast, and I am absolutely in love with them. They help me with my commute to school, and right now we are in lockdown, complete quarantine, and we have no contact with the outside world, so I feel like your guys' podcast is the only thing keeping me from going absolutely insane, like some of your killers. But I want to let you guys know that I really enjoy what you guys do, and keep your own time ticking. Bye-bye.
Well, Gibbs, we are definitely here for everyone during this trying time.
We are. We're here for you. Go back and listen to all the episodes again.
If you have to, yeah, re-listen.
Yeah.
I watch some Netflix series 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
You actually do.
I don't know why, but I find myself catching things that I didn't. I do that with movies too.
Yeah.
I'll catch details that I missed the first time or the second time or the third time.
I think you watched The Office like 5 times at least.
I have watched The Office a bunch.
Son
My
of
kids have watched it. I bet you they've watched the whole season 20 times.
Yeah.
Because they just watch it every day. I don't even think they pay attention to half of it.
It's kind of like how I watched Seinfeld back in the day. It was just always on. So
Yeah.
I just kept on watching it. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Hi, Mike and Gibby. This is Lindley calling from California, but originally from New Zealand. I just wanted to say, firstly, that we don't have any kangaroo, Gibby. I'm saying that to you. But I just wanted to bring up because I'm a fan, and I was hoping that you might consider covering the case of Laurie Vallow, who's getting pretty infamous, but there haven't been any podcasts about this whole situation yet. And it would be fascinating, and it looks like she might get away with this, which is awful. So I hope you might consider being the first to cover this god-awful woman, if I may say so. Anyway, keep up the great work. You keep listening, and I don't mind all the repetition, even though I usually would, but you guys have got a way of making it interesting, and keep your own time ticking.
About kangaroos?
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. They don't have them yet.
Yeah.
So when I first heard that, I was like, man, what's going on with the accents over in California? I was trying to place it. And
Yeah.
so
Those Kiwis.
Kiwis. So with that case, I think, and this is probably why a lot of people have not rushed into it, you want to know the ending.
Yeah.
If she gets away with it, then Okay, that's one type of episode. If she's convicted, that's another type.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to wait and see all the facts that come out. I mean, that's kind of like me with Samuel Little, other things like that, where I don't like to cover things while they're ongoing. Now, there could be a different podcast that you and I do, which is updating cases that are ongoing.
Right.
But when it comes to like TCAT, I like everything to be done.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, here's all the facts. Or the same with Unsolved. I mean, I guess we could do Unsolved technically, but then if, this person's convicted in the next 2 weeks and we're going to get like 8,000 emails saying, why'd you do this? It's solved.
Right. Yeah.
Because people listen to it for years down the road. But anyway, it's definitely something to keep on the radar. All right, buddy. That's it for another episode of True Crime All the Time Unsolved. So for Mike
and Gibby,
stay safe and keep your own time ticking.